Yahuah Shalom. This is Watchman Yahshay. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, those who walk in the belief of Yahuah Yahshay. If you've stayed connected with me, last time we went live on Halloween being a Christian celebration. This is part 2 of Halloween is a Christian celebration. Give me a second, let me get this A1 so when we go live, man, we can really rock out with what's going down. And once again, I say to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, to the Goyim converts that have attached themselves, man, Yahuah Shalom. Before I really get started, I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear and you can hear me clearly as I go in on this teaching, man, because I want you to understand and I really want you to see why I say that this is a Christian celebration. Total Rabba to all those who watched last time. All esteem to Yahuah Yahshay, Barak Yah, Rumamu Yahuah. The highest exaltation to Yahuah for the love that He is poured upon us and shed upon us, bringing us out of darkness into His marvelous light. If someone who's listening, just write real quick and just let me know that it's clear. Just let me know if you can hear me clearly and that you're seeing this clearly, and we will go forward with the teaching. Okay, it's thumbs up. That means we A1. Torah. Let's go to the words, man. You know, I'm big on words, man. Matter of fact, the term spell or spelling shows how pagan these roots of these words are when you come to the etymology of words in the English tongue. English is actually the tongue for Anglo-Saxons or the English people. That's why if you look in the history of things, you can hear the Anglican Church, Torah for letting me know. I appreciate that. The Anglican Church, if you look back in history, you'll find when this country was founded, what they call around the Plymouth Rock era, you will find the Anglican Church. English is a tongue that is used to really point out the paganism in their dialect. So right now we're going to walk through to see if Hebrew is what they say a Christian celebration. We're going to look at this. The word Halloween, we're back on that, and I'm going to show you why we're going this route too. The word Halloween dates around 1745 and is of Christian origin. When a Christian says that Halloween did not stem from them, they are lying, because Halloween is the original term. Halloween, the coined term Halloween comes from the Christian belief system. Now, Samhain is the witch's term for the same day, but Halloween was coined by Christianity. The word Halloween means Saints' Evening. It comes from a Scottish term, All Hallows Eve, the evening before All Hallows Day. In Scots, the word Eve is evening or even, and this is contracted to Ein or Een. Over time, All Hallows Een evolved into Halloween. I touched on the first one. I touched on that part, but I want to get to the point that I'm getting to. Although the phrase All Hallows is found in Old English or Middle English, remember I told you that, All Hallows Eve is itself not seen until 1556. So Christianity brought this stuff in the forefront, and they Christianized it and made this monster we see as Halloween. That's why you can't get away with it, get away from it. And they ain't not gonna get away with it. But that's why you can't get away from it, because it is a Christian celebration. As a matter of fact, on my Shabbat today, as we were relaxing on the Shabbat, a couple came up to the house and they gave me this sob story that there was a little kid that was in the hospital on Halloween, and they asked us to hold the candy for him today. They asked us, can we hold a bag of candy with them so that we could allow this little kid to trick or treat in our neighborhood today and offer him some candy? And I said, no, we do not celebrate Halloween. So because poor little Jimmy didn't celebrate Halloween on October 31st, they were finna make a Halloween today on my Shabbat. Man, Yahuah Gahar, man. I said, no, we do not celebrate Halloween. And I'm pretty sure they're going to make sure little Jimmy do not come by here, because I'm going to give him the business about Halloween. Also, another thing I want to tell you before I really get deep into it, I want to share a testimony and tell you what happened regarding a printing place in my area as well. You know, I went to get some tracts made or some flyers made for Halloween, and on the flyer it was Anton LaVey in a Baphomet logo and behind him, and it says, I'm glad Christians worship Satan at least one time a year. On that, I was going to put scriptures on the back of it, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all seen the scriptures that I was going to post on the back of it, because I posted them on my page about vampires and werewolves and this and the such. So when I went to the place, real cordial with the lady, talked to her, tell her what I was trying to do, and was getting ready for outreach. She said, well, email us the image so we can put it out there, so you know we can print it for you and put it in our system to print it out. So I emailed her the image while she was helping another gentleman, and She pulls in the email, she types it in the computer, and the image just pops up. Anton LaVey. I'm glad that Christians celebrate Satan with me at least once a year. And man, the look on her face, I already could tell it was a problem with her. And she began to tell me that, you know, hey, it'll be about 20 or 30 minutes before I can get to this. I'm like, man, she said, how fast do you need it? I said, I really need this because I'm trying to get out in the streets and really do some outreach. So then she was like, well, it'll be about 30 minutes. Give me about 30 minutes. So I said, bet, you know, I'll go do some other things, handle some business on the day. We're talking about October 31st. And so I get out and I start doing some other things. I get a call while I'm at the bank, and she says, it'll be another hour and a half to 2 hours before we can get this, even after I finish the job I already have, before I can even get to it. So I was like, I'm thinking to myself, you didn't tell me that it would be an hour and a half before you could get to the job. You know, you didn't even mention the job being ran. So I was like, man, this lady playing me. I called Yahuah. I'm like, man, this lady, I really believe, you know, at first we was going to give her our business as far as the music that we're working on, as far as the songs we're working on. But right now, I think she really don't want to print out my Halloween flyers. So I told her, okay, well, we'll see what's cracking. Next thing you know, I don't get a call from this lady. So I call her and hit them up. You know, I call them and they say, well, you know, such and such gone to lunch right now. I was like, I just want to tell her that she can run the production on my flyers I'm trying to get made for Halloween. She said, oh, you're the one that had the flyer, huh? Well, she showed that to our owner of our company, and as a Christian company, we really don't feel comfortable with you putting a flyer out like that, us being Christians. I'm like, wait a second. I said, do you guys celebrate Halloween? She said, well, I'm too old to celebrate Halloween. That's not what I asked. She said she's too old. But I said, so if you don't celebrate Halloween, why is it an offense to you that I'm trying to warn people about the dangers of Halloween? Well, we just don't feel like that we should do it. Right at this point, y'all, I'm livid. I'm pretty livid, but I'm laughing at the same time while I'm talking to this lady. And next door, on the steps of the other business right beside them, there is a severed head on the steps of this building beside them. So they have a problem with me warning the town about Halloween, but they have no problem with this severed head laying on the other steps of this building. So I told them, I said, look here. I said, I was trying to, you know, give you some business and trying to really reach the people around here. You won't get my business after this. You won't get any business from me after this, man. They rejected me trying to do outreach, warning people about the dangers of Halloween because the owner wasn't comfortable with it. So, man, this is the mind state of a Christian. This is the mind state of them. They don't want to ruffle anything that goes against their Christian belief, whether it's worshiping the devil or not. So let's get into some book real quick, and then we're going to go forward. This is Yahuah or Isaiah 28:15 through 16. Because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol or the pit, we are in agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore, thus says Yahuah Elohim, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, and a sure foundation. He that believes shall not make haste. That's Yahuah or Isaiah 28:15 through 16. These people have made a covenant with death. I spoke on that on the first one, but I really wanted to read that scripture to let you see. And with the pit, the place of the dead, where the souls are tormented and tortured, they are in agreement with it. So that's what I'm saying. That severed head that was on the porch that I passed by, felt weird about, to go off in their Christian place where it has Ecclesiastes on the wall, all kind of little flowers and stuff, nothing Halloween. They are still in agreement with death. They are still in agreement that they didn't want me speaking against Halloween. They didn't want me saying that Anton LaVey has said that he is glad that Christians worship Satan at least once a year. Why? Because the adversary, Hashatan, is JC. The Baphomet is Jesus Christ. The same deity. It's the same way as you see Krampus is related to Santa Claus. It is the same being. It is the same being. So when you go to Halloween, Samhain, the horned deity, or the green man, the horned deity of Wicca, is JC. It's just, it's kind of like, the best way to see it is like two sides of the same coin, like Two-Face. If you ever watch Batman, you have two sides of the same coin, or the same person, Harvey Dent, as Two-Face. You got a bad side and you have a good side. Whether the coin lands is whether he'll kill you or whether he'll let you go. It's the same thing with Samhain or the horned deity of Wicca and JC. And then it's the same thing as Krampus and Santa Claus. That's why during January and New Year's Eve, you represent and celebrate Janus, the two-faced deity that they're talking about. Janus is the deity of new beginnings unto them. And so when you see that in New Year's, they celebrate the duality of this same deity. This is not just made up, and it's not just, it leads. That's why I told you on the last teaching that it leads from Halloween all the way to January 6th, because they have to go into their new year, and those 12 days of Yule is also leading up to and a worshiping of Janus, the two-faced pagan deity. So, with that being said, let's look at Halloween some more. We've always seen it as the Christian origin. Today's Halloween's costumes are thought to have been influenced by folk customs. Folk and pagan are the same word. If you hear folk songs and folklores, folk just means the country pagan folks. So we just do them like that. Pagan folks. So add folk on to pagan folks. Customs and beliefs from the Celtic or Celtic speaking countries. Some of these are which believed to have pagan roots. Oh, wow. Jack Santino, a folklorist, writes that there was throughout Ireland an uneasy truce existing between customs and beliefs associated with Christianity and those associated with religions that were Irish before Christianity arrived. See? We just talked about that. That's Jack Santino, a folklorist. He talks about the uneasy truce. What is that? Christianity had beat the Irish people into subjection, but they knew that they could not just take away their pagan customs, so they made a truce. And they made these customs merge with Christianity. So where the Irish celebrated deities of wood and stone, the Catholics just took, and the Christians just took that and adopted it so that they can all be on the same plane with different names. St. Patrick's Day, it really represents that. When they talk about running the snakes out of Ireland, they really just whooped up the indigenous people of Ireland who worship these devils. And so that's what we see as Halloween. The historian Nicholas Rogers, exploring the origins of Halloween, notes that while some folklorists have detected its origins in the Roman feast of Pomona, see there? It's all Roman. That's why you can't tell me the Greeks wrote the New Testament. You can't tell me the Greeks wrote the New Testament. What they did was they took the Abram renewed covenant, the Berit Hadashah, and they made and put their own mighty ones in this book. They revamped the New Testament, or what you call the New Testament, but they did not write it. They took what they wanted out of it and they used what they used. So they took the origin Roman feast of Pomona, the goddess of fruits and seeds, or the festival of the dead, called, guess what? Parentalia. It is more typically linked to the Celtic festival of Samhain, which comes from the old Irish word for summer's end. So they merged all this together, and they mixed all this together. Samhain was the first and most important of the 4 quarter days in the medieval Gaelic calendar, and was celebrated on 31st of October through the 1st of November in Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. A kindred festival was held at the same time during the Brittonic Celts, called the Selen Gaels in Wales, Calan Gaeaf in Cornwall, and Calan Gaeaf in Brittany, the name meaning first day of winter. Now I'm reading this for a point. Bear with me. For the Celts, the day ended and began at sunset. You see that? The day ended and began at sunset. That is not pagan. That is not pagan. That is actually Yahuah's calendar. And remember, I told you they learned that from Nimrod. The understanding is there in Bereshit, the evening and the morning, first day. People take that as a pagan understanding, but you got to understand the Abrit people, what you call Hebrew, the sons of Shem, the Shemites. We taught these people calendars and letterings and characters and things like that. They didn't just come up with these. These people were just brute beasts and savages. That's why you see the writing to Titus that these Cretans were brute beasts. Always lions. You have to understand this. So what they have an understanding of in that is what they learned from the Abrit people. Thus the festival began on the evening before the 7th of November by modern reckoning, half point between the equinox and the solstice. This is the winter equinox, winter solstice. Samhain and Calan Gaeaf are mentioned in the same earliest writings in Welsh literature. Their names have been used by historians to refer Celtic Halloween customs until the 19th century, and are still the Gaelic and Welsh names for Halloween. You see that? They still hold their customs. They're still holding what they have as customs so that they can use these customs under the worship of these dark lords. So why would Christians even partake in something that has such ancient and dark customs? Why? Because they are pagan themselves. And what they did, because Hashatan changes himself into an angel of light, he masquerades as an angel of light, they have merged the Abrit belief that remained themselves Kadesh. Read when you get a chance the Constantine Creed. Read when you get a chance the Constantine's Creed, and you'll see that they stopped the Abrit people from operating as in Kadash to Yahuah and wanted them to merge with the pagan festivities as to win more people, because more people mean more money. It was all a money thing. Samhain and Calan Gaeaf marked the end of the harvest season and beginning of the winter, or the darker half of the year. Like Beltane, that's Beltane literally means bell fire. Calan Mai It was seen as a liminal time when the boundary between this world and the other world thin. We touched on all that. So I'm not going to take too much time. If you watched the first teaching, you've seen that I was talking about the thinning of the veil. This meant that the Alls, it's kind of like Loas in Haitian belief. They believe Loa is a spirit or a spirit deity. They call them Oasi or Ishi. Ain't that something? The pronunciation is Ishi. Ain't that something? Ain't that what some Hebrews call they wives and husbands? That tongue is so messed up. I'm telling you, you got to be careful with that in the cool system. Matter of fact, that's what LL was doing on that song, which was creepy. Well, they are the spirits or the fairies, could easily come into the world and were particularly active. So they were conjuring spirits and fairies. Let's look at what the book say. Let's go to Dabarim or Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 18. Salakia. Dabarim 18. And we're going to go and we're going to look at 18 and 9. I want y'all to see how Yahuah feels about playing with spirits and fairies. I want you to understand, man. Shabbat shalom to all those who are watching, man. We're going in on this truth because we want people to know without a shadow of a doubt that this is a Christian celebration. That's why Yahuah told us to partake and to remove ourselves and do not partake in pagan festivals and rituals. So we had to come out of her. We had to come out of Babylon in the form of Christianity. We had to come out of the whore that's in the form of Christianity. You got to understand this. This is why we were called out and called to be separate. Hallelujah. When you are coming to the land which Yahuah Alaheka, this 18 and 9. When you are coming to the land which Yahuah Alaheka gives you, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that makes his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. Those are satanic rituals. That could be child sacrifice, or they literally have rituals where fires are started and people jump through the flames. So that could be either one. Shabbat shalom, 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 Akim, and Akatu. There shall be none found among you, anyone that makes his son and his daughter pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or the one who practiced sorcery, or an enchanter, or a witch. So divination is just like tarot cards and psychic readings. All these things are happening during the time of Halloween at a more increased rate. Matter of fact, on the last one, I spoke of a witch who said she was getting ready for her Halloween feast. What I didn't tell you, because I was kind of rushing, trying to get my points out, what I didn't tell you was this. That when she pulled out her coin, it had a Ouija board on the front of it. On her coin bag, there was a Ouija board on the coin purse that she had. And it was called Mystique or Mystical Mints. It was a literal Ouija board as mints. These people are straight witches. They're not playing. And she had, the bag that she had was with the symbols, the stars and the pentagrams. All the satanic symbols were on her bag. But the reason why I talk about that, divination, Ouija boards, they increase at this time. Tarot card readings, psychic readings, all those things, seances are done at this time. The one who practiced sorcery. Sorcery is a mingling of chemicals to produce spells to a person. It's the mingling of different potions and stuff. You'll see that people will even say, hey, at our, where I work, they were asking if we had dry ice. Why? Because they were going to act like they were going to use the dry ice, pour some solution on top of it, and it makes a smoke looking thing, like they're making a pot, a cauldron or a boiling pot with potions in it. Man, that stuff is satanic, man. Even playing like that offends Yahuah. Even playing like you're going to conjure or create a spell is against the Most High Yahuah. So here we go. Or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits. That's that Loa that the Haitians be talking about. Or the Ishi that we just talked about in Ireland. That's all those things are consulters with familiar spirits. That's why people talk about Papa Legba and things of that nature. You know, even in the Disney Princess and the Frog, that's the first thing they went to, was promoting voodoo to our children. You had Shadow Man, who was supposed to be Papa Doc. Then you had Mama Gumbo, who was supposed to represent the good side of voodoo or hoodoo by way of the church. Mama Gumbo, who was Madame Laveau in her old age. Man, that stuff is witchcraft. They were summoning. And even in all Disney movies, it's like that. You can't get past it. But why would they show our people and give us a story, not of how we ruled overseas before we came as slaves, but put us right in Louisiana, the early 1900s, in voodoo? They know what they're doing. Do not fall for these tricks of the enemy. Disney is connected. Disney is connected to these people, and they are giving your children a desire and a love for the occult. You need to guard your children and guard those people who you say you love, who you know are partaking in watching and going to Disney World. The Harry Potter, the Universal Studios has pretty much renovated and ransacked everything else and renovated to build the Harry Potter's Hogwarts place down there, and they're eating blood sausage and worshiping Satan right there in Universal Studios, and everybody is fine with it. You must take a stand against evil. As Abram Yasharim, as the called out people of Yahuah, we must rebuke. But this message is to prove to you, it is an exhortation unto you to show you that Halloween is most definitely a Christian celebration. That's why voodoo, Haiti, and those places like that are 80% Catholic. 80% to 90% Catholic. Why do you think Christianity in the form of Catholicism is so big? Because in order to do those spells, they must learn the Catholic rites. They must learn the Catholic rites to produce those voodoo and spells. Voodoo is not just a black thing. Stop falling for the occult. Voodoo was already known because voodoo comes from the spirit world. Hashatan is an equal opportunity destroyer. He does not care about what color a human is. As long as they're seeking him, he will show them the arts, the dark arts. Here we go. Or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. Before I go to necromancer, I want to talk about this word wizard. If you ever go to Wally World, if you ever walk off in Wally World, and you got them in every city, when you go to the counter, look at their counter and watch how much they promote Wizard 101 and how much they promote magic. These cards, these tarot cards, these magic cards called magic and Wizard 101. Look at how they promote wizardry to our people. Harry Potter is in its 20th year celebration right now, and it shows. Matter of fact, if you look at Time Magazine, when they promoted Harry Potter, they said, this is what they said. They said they purposely made it light and fluffy pretty much for the children, so that they can progressively make it darker as it increased, as not to scare the children off, but to get them enamored into witchcraft and into magic first, so that they can hit them with the okie doke at the end. There are churches that literally teach Harry Potter in their Bible studies and their vacation Bible schools. I'm not making this up. This is the 100% truth. Christianity is the same thing to Yahuah as voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, Obeah, Palomumbaya, Juju, object linking. Every Christianity is the same. That's why people are wrecking their brains wondering how some Christians don't do Halloween, but the majority of Christians do Halloween. Why? Because just because you have different pieces that break away from a certain piece of that, you're still the same body. You're still on the same whore. It comes from the Catholic whore. She sits on many waters. That's what Revelation said. And those waters represent the people. So Catholicism was the original. And your mother is a whore. Your mother, Catholicism, is the whore of Babylon. That's why you see the colors on her are scarlet, purple, and gold. but the Torah is supposed to be there. It's supposed to be blue. It's supposed to be blue. So that she removed the Torah. She removed the Torah. So she's the whore because she does not walk in the instructions and commandments of Yahuah. This is in the Torah, what I'm reading to you right now. Necromancy. We're going to look at how they worship the dead. Even in Christianity, you cannot say, oh, well, my AOH, higher learning, left side of the rock of Jericho, making his way to be baptized in the Jordan Church of God, don't celebrate Halloween. But you do a hallelujah night. That's the same thing to Yahuah. You cannot, watch this, revelation walks. A lot of churches do revelation walks at this time where they take the children out and they walk them through a representation of how the Shemayim and how the pit is going to be and how the end times is going to be at the wrath of the Most High. Why would you do that at the time where devils and demons through Satanists are trying to extract fear from children? Why would you do that at a time where fear is trying to be extracted from people in order to appease these demons? Why wouldn't you do it in the summertime? Why wouldn't you do it in late winter? Why would you wait until Halloween time to do something to strike fear into the hearts of people in a term called revelation walk? That's not of Yahuah. So you can label it to whatever you do, trunk or treat as well. You can label it in whatever you do, but your labeling it does not change the pure origin of it, the concentrated origin of it. It does not change it. So let's look at this. Necromancy is the conjuring of the dead. It literally means to call forth the dead. For all that do these things are an abomination to Yahuah, and because of these abominations, Yahuah Alaheka, your power, drives them from before you. You shall be perfect with Yahuah Alaheka. Now, how can you be perfect? By keeping his commandments and his covenants. A big thing in Christianity, they say you cannot be perfect. That is a lie. There is a form of perfection that Yahuah is looking for. And that form is in the form of striving to be obedient. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. So watch what he says. For these nations which you shall possess, they listen unto sorcerers and unto diviners. But as for you, Yahuah, your power, has not allowed you to do so. So Christians, why do you allow yourself to listen to sorcerers and diviners? Because that's who your preachers and teachers are. If your pastor has given you the go ahead to do a trunk or treat or a hallelujah night or a revelation walk, they are listening to diviners and sorcerers. You need to leave that place. You need to find you someone who's really seeking the word of Yahuah Yahshay and begin to attach yourselves to them. Leave that church. Don't look back. That place is wicked because that place worships the dead and worships demons. Let me tell you why. We went as a Christian rapper. When I was a Christian rapper, we went to a church. And when we went into the church, Yahuah already was dealing with me at this time, man, leaving Christianity, and he gave me a word called take your mask off. It was literally a trunk or treat. And it was called take off your mask. And I began to speak about the evils of Halloween. It didn't go well with people, as you see. The Ruach was already dealing with me at that time. So, in the church, it was a woman sitting there dressed as a druid. Dressed as a druid. My wife can testify that. Dressed as a druid. And the daughter, the pastor's daughter, was in a devil's outfit. A red devil's outfit, horns and all. Man, it blew me away. That they would actually be here in this dark garment saying, oh, but we don't celebrate Halloween, brother. And I told them, I said, I thought you said you don't celebrate Halloween. When they booked me, I talked to them. They were, hey, we don't do Halloween and this and that. They was like, oh, we don't do Halloween, but we open up the place for all the trick-or-treaters and stuff to come into our church. But here's the problem. Those people that I just named were members of the church. They were not trick-or-treaters. But anyway, Let's get to this. They did it for spirits and fairies that would be able to more easily come into the world and were particularly active. Most scholars see the Ishi, they're called, as degraded versions of ancient deities, see there, whose power remains active in the people's minds even after they have been officially replaced by later religious beliefs. So even though, watch this, even though Christianity came in and conquered everywhere, just like Islam, we're going to touch on a little bit on Islam too. But even though Christianity came in and conquered, in their minds and in their belief system, they still were worshiping the Ishi. They still were worshiping these deities and these demons as the Elohim that they knew, but had now personified them with Christian characters. Let me give you an example of this that goes on even in our time today. St. Peter's Basilica. St. Peter's Basilica, if you look at the statue of St. Peter that's in the Vatican St. Peter Basilica, it is literally the deity Jupiter. It was originally Jupiter. But what they did was, because it sits on the hills of sorcery, that's what the Vatican is. It actually means hill of divination or hill of sorcery. You see, Yahuah says not to do divination. Look up what the Vatican means. Go research it. The hill of divination or the hill of sorcery was already a pagan 7 hills that the Vatican took for themselves, and instead of pummeling and crushing and destroying the idols, like Yahuah had commanded anyone that conquers a pagan territory, they took those idols and made them into things. So where you see Artemis, she became Mary. Where you see Jupiter, it became Peter, St. Peter. Where you see these different deities, it became another deity. Y'all got LJ straight? Okay. Salaki. I just want to make sure my son's straight. So with the St. Peter's Basilica, the situation is going on with that. They actually took the deity and made him Elohim. They made Peter, St. Peter, from Jupiter. So it's the same thing that they did there. They said that they were degraded versions of ancient Elohim or ancient deities. So they took those degraded versions and they took it and put it into another and followed it into another belief system. So watch this. Man, this is crazy. This is just crazy. So the Ishi were both respected and feared, with individuals both often invoking the protection of God. Look at that. This is Christianity when approaching their dwellings. At Samhain, it was believed that Ishi needed to be propitiated to ensure that the people and their livestock survived the winter. Offerings of food and drink. Offerings of food and drink and portions of the crops were left outside for the Ishi. So this is why we have bonfires, and this is why we have the offerings and the parties they do, the Halloween festivals, the harvest festivals, the pumpkins. Pumpkins are food as well, remember. They have all these things to appease the Ishi, the deities. The souls of the dead are also said to revisit their homes seeking hospitality. Places were set up at the dinner table and by the fire to welcome them. Wow. That's the same thing they do with Santa Claus with the milk and cookies. The belief that the souls of the dead return home on the night of the year and must be appeased seems to have ancient origins and is found in many cultures throughout the world. In 19th century Ireland, candles would be lit and prayers formally offered to the souls of the dead. After this, eating, drinking, and games would begin. Now tell me, can anyone on here watching tell me if Halloween is for the dead or not? We talked about it being the Dia de Muertos or the Day of the Dead. We talked about it always bringing souls. Matter of fact, I talked about the Google image being the Halloween ghost ghosts and everything last time, but we said only thing was lost souls or wayward souls find your rest here. Wow. So you know for the dead. So why would he make something die? Salaka, hold on 1 second. 1 second. I think my internet's slowing down a little bit. So why would you do that for the dead? Why would you even participate in a satanic thing for the dead? For I told you before, Yahuah Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. Come on, man. This right here is just crazy. So here we go. Eating, drinking, and games will begin. This is Halloween. This is a Christian celebration. So throughout Ireland, Britain, and the household festivities, including rituals and games intended to foretell one's future. So I'm going to read that again. Throughout Ireland and Britain, the household festivities included rituals and games intended to foretell one's future, especially regarding death and marriage. They still do this stuff. This ain't nothing crazy. Apple sales. Matter of fact, I talked about pumpkins last time. Another thing that increased in sales is apples. I thought just by themselves it was just for bobbing for apples. But no, the pagans are resilient. They come in for apples so that they can caramelize them and make caramelized apple candy or candy apples. So apple sales increased. Watch this. Apples and nuts were often used in these divination rituals. Wow. Apples and nuts. That's why you got to understand when they talk about the story of Adam and Yahuah, they always say that the forbidden fruit was an apple. It's not because they thought it was an apple. It's because they're pagan and they're putting in their pagan understanding of the apple representing the secret knowledge. It was not an apple. It just says fruit. And I've told you that last time that fruit was described as being like a grape from the vine. So here we go. They include apple bobbing, and we talked about that last time. Please watch the first video if you have not, so you'll get some understanding more on what we touched on. Cassidy, man, he made a good point. Ain't no way around whether we do it at church or not. It's devilish period, and against Yah's commandments. Khan, man, that's truth. No matter where you do it at, it's still going to be the celebration and worship of devils. Why? Because that church is not a church unto Yahuah. It's already a temple of Baal. JC is Baal the Black. It's a false deity. Man, it's a false deity. So here we go. Apples and nuts are used in the divination ritual. They do nut roasting, scrying, whatever that is, and mirror gazing. That's crystallomancy. That's another form of what necromancy is. Crystallomancy is looking in a mirror and summoning demons. Matter of fact, Michael Jackson did that. That's why he had the song, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. He wasn't just talking about evaluating himself, because if you look at Psychic Magazine, I believe Psychic Magazine 1989, Michael Jackson admitted that he would look into a mirror and summon the demon. Well, he said summon the spirit of Lee Liberace, which was a homosexual piano player and musician. Michael Jackson said that in Psychic Magazine. He said that he would practice crystallomancy in Psychic Magazine. You can look it up. And he tells people how he would look in mirrors and conjure forth this man and get songs. That's why I think one of the songs was I'll Be Seeing You, that he got from Lee Liberace. I bet he will be seeing him. He visiting him now because they both in the pit. There is no rest. There's no may he rest in peace. There is no rest for the wicked in that pit. So Michael Jackson made this song, Man in the Mirror, for mirror gazing and crystallomancy. Just a piece of that. And pouring molten lead or egg whites into water. Dream interpretation and others. Special bonfires were lit. And there were rituals involving them. Churches have all kind of bonfires. and don't understand it comes from bonfire. Most of the people do understand that this pagan roots. They do understand that. They just act as if they don't know. These pastors and leaders, they know. Because let me tell you something. If I can get my hands on the history and the understanding and talk to people and they give me the history and understanding, why can't these pastors do it? They 501c3 pays them enough to do it. Why can't they do it? Here we go. Their flames, smokes, ashes were deemed to have protective and cleansing power. They were also used for divination. In some places, torches lit from the bonfire were carried sunwise around homes and fields to protect them. It is suggested that the fires were a kind of imitative or sympathetic magic. They mimic the sun. Now, wait a second. Sunday worship. Most people on their churches, the saved lettering, says sun worship at 9 a.m. Pulpits and pews in Christian churches are designed to where you are facing the sun. Look it up. It is literally sun worship. This is what Constantine brought in the form of Christianity, sun worship. So these people are worshiping the sun, helping the powers of growth by holding back the decay of the darkness in winter. In Scotland, these bonfires and divination games were banned by the church elders in some parishes. In some parishes, they were banned by the church elders. Why? Because they knew the roots. The elders knew where they had came from. The elders knew that this was sun worship. In Wales, bonfires were lit to prevent the souls of the dead from falling to earth. Later, these bonfires served to keep away the devil. They just continue to progress the bonfires in anything. Christians still do bonfires today, especially rural area churches. They do bonfires. So let's keep on going with this. I want y'all to see all this. Man, so we talked about trick or treat last time, so I don't really want to jump into that too hard. But let me go down into this. Another thing I want to touch on too is why the black robes. That's why a lot of people see that the Catholic priests and a lot of the priests, even in Judaism, wear black robes, because that black robes were originally worn so that when the ashes get on a person, it wouldn't mar up the outfit that they wore. So they would wear black robes so the ashes wouldn't and the smut from the fire wouldn't get on their robes. So let's go into this. Let me see. Let's go. Let me read this part because I touched on this on the first one. From at least the 18th century, imitating malignant spirits, that means dangerous spirits, led into playing pranks in Ireland and the Scottish Highlands. Wearing costumes and playing pranks at Halloween spread to England in the 20th century. Traditionally, pranksters use hollowed out turnips. See, we talked about that last time. Or mangled wurzels, whatever that is. And often carved with grotesque faces as lanterns by those who made them. The lanterns were variously said to represent the spirits, see, and were used to ward off evil spirits. Remember, we talked about that. I told you they would put a curse on the house if they did not give him the treat, or if they gave them the treat, which was the version, they would actually sit down the lantern to ward off the evil spirits, to let the devil know that they had performed the ritual that they needed to be performed. So, let's look at this. Christian influence. Today's Halloween customs are thought to have been influenced by Christian dogma and practices derived from it. Christian dogmas and practice derived from it. Halloween is the evening before the Christian holy days of All Hallows Day. Now, wait a second. We just seen that it was All Hallows Evening. So who made up All Hallows Day? It's the same people. They trying to act like they're not doing the same devilment. Known as All Saints or Hallowmas. Look at there. Just like Christmas, you have Hallowmas, a mass to represent Halloween. Ain't that something? If you look at the Wiccan calendar, they have a celebration, a witches celebration called Candlemas. They're using the same terms. We just failed to realize that when we were in Christianity, we were in devil worship. We were in satanic worship. And a lot of people can't cope with that. They cannot believe that trying to do right and trying to walk in the light actually had satanic roots. That's why a lot of people will tell you when they come into this, they instantly welcome voodoo. Why? Because the evil that was in their heart and the wickedness that was in their heart in Christianity, they come over here and they're looking for the same satanic rituals. That's not of Yahuah. Yahuah is not in voodoo. Yahuah is not in Santeria, in Yoruba magic, in Obeah, Palomumba. There's not in that stuff. Juju, object linking. It's not in that stuff. Necromancy, tarot card reading, psychic reading. You have Hebrews. You know, I put those witches on blast. LaJoy and her people. I put them witches on blast because they actually have a site where you can pay them to do psychic readings and all that. And they have claimed to be Hebrew. We put them on blast. The spiritual specialists, Star Child spiritual specialists. Man, Yahuah rebuke you for your wickedness. On 1st November and All Souls Day on 2nd November. Now watch this. All Souls Day is a Christian celebration. It's also called All Saints Day. Why do you think it transitions from souls to saints? Why? Because it's dead saints. It's dead saints. And all these saints they pray to on their beads represents the souls that they worship and pray to. On the 2nd of November, thus giving the holiday on 31st of October the full name of All Hallows Eve. There you go. Let's say this again. I'm going to read this again. Halloween is the evening before the Christian holy days of All Hallows Day, also known as All Saints Day or Hallowmas. On the 1st of November, All Hallows Day on the 2nd of November. Thus giving the holiday on the 31st of October the full name of All Hallows Eve, meaning the evening before All Hallows Day. That's it. That's the initial proof that it's a Christian celebration right there. This is a Christian celebration. So when we out there trying to warn Christians not to celebrate Halloween, that's why they get so angry at us. You are actually talking about their celebration. This is theirs. They own it. Man. And so that's why now I understand why I couldn't just walk in a Christian place and give them a flyer speaking against Halloween. I'm not even upset about it anymore. I just was blown away. But you cannot expect Christians to stop their own celebrations. Man, come on. Since the time of the early church, major feasts in Christianity. Here we go. Major feasts. Remember I told you that witch said that Halloween was her feast? See, they can do all these pagan feasts, but can't keep one feast of Yahuah 7 that he has commanded us to keep in Uyakara 23 or Leviticus 23. They won't keep one feast. They say they're too hard to do. And you're being legalistic when you're trying to keep a feast. But they can keep all these pagan, demonic, satanic, witch-induced feasts to the devil, but won't turn their head in humble obedience to one feast of Yahuah Yahshay. Man, this is wickedness. In the early church, major feasts in Christianity, such as Christmas, Easter, and Pentecost, had vigils. They began the night before, as did the Feast of All Hallows. That's why they all celebrate all this stuff together. That's why they don't see it as one is more evil than the other. They don't see it like that. So if you're going to leave Christianity, you got to leave Christianity as a whole. Because you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to do Halloween, but then I do Christmas. Then I'm not going to do Halloween, but I'll do Ishtar or Easter, which is dedicated to a deity who is Asherah or Samaranus, the wife of Nimrod. Man, bro, you got to leave it all. Yahuah wants all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength. He wants all of you. Yahuah alaheka. You must love Yahuah alaheka. Ukal lababka. Ubakal napashka. Ubakal ma'adka. With all your inner man, with all your outer man, and with all your strength. You must love him with all of it. Carnal is wicked. They must love him with all of it, but they know that they doing this evil. We must become Kadash to Yahuah completely and not play around like this is not wickedness. Watch this. These 3 days are collectively called All Hallow Tide. So the 31st, the 1st, and November 2nd. So the 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd. They are called All Hallow Tide. Wow. And are a time honoring the saints and praying for the recently departed souls who have yet to reach heaven. Boy! So they praying for the souls who have yet to reach. Do you understand that purgatory was created by a wicked pope for money? That he began to tell widows and devour widows' houses by telling them that their husbands and the departed dead were in a place of the pit, and in order to pay penance. That's why you do mass almost every day. The Catholic Church told me that. Ladies from the Catholic Church said they do services almost every day. They pay penance, and they paying that penance to try to buy their husbands out of the pit, what is called Shaul, or the appointed place of darkness, into purgatory, because at least they can't get to the Shemayim, so at least they can put them into a middle plane. That's why they think the realm is thin, because they literally think they're on Middle Earth. That's why if you look at Lord of the Rings, it had Middle Earth. That's why they called it Middle Earth. If you look at Thundercats on Middle Earth. Why? Because it's a realm between the pit and the Shemayim. That's a pagan understanding. That's why on Thundercats, he would talk to his dead father Jaga as the blue spirit. See, they introduced this stuff to us early so that when they bring out trick-or-treating and stuff as children, we are suckered in. They teach it to the children early. One girl said she had an 8-month-old and a 1-year-old, and she's wrecking her brain on how to get their Halloween perfect. Man, Yahuah Gar, man. Yahushua said to us, don't weep for me. Weep for you and your children. He told the women that because he knew that the children would be sacrificed in a form of given to be obedient unto demons. This is evil. I'm reading you Christianity. I'm not reading Hinduism. I'm not reading Islam right now. I'm reading Christianity. And they get mad when you say you leaving Christianity. It's a time for honoring saints and praying for the recently departed souls who have yet to reach heaven. Matter of fact, let me tell you this piece. When you pay penance in mass for your dead loved one, and you give all this money to your dead loved one to get them out of the pit, they never tell you when it happens. They never tell you when they got out of the pit. You will pay up until your death. They are literally breaking Torah and breaking Yahushua's words of devouring widows' houses. They are literally raping people. Boy, financially, because they raping children too. We know that. Commemorations of all saints and martyrs were held by several churches on various dates, mostly in the springtime. That's why they tell you Santeria is a Christian belief system. Santeria magic is done through the worship of saints, candlelighting and the worship of saints. They'll tell you that. Shalom, shalom to all who watching. Toro Rabo, I appreciate you watching, because we're going to put this thing out here, man. And we putting this thing out here to put it on blast so that we can walk in Kadashness and they can't have no excuse to say that they didn't know that this is wickedness. So I appreciate all you who shared the first one. I appreciate everyone who watched the first one. There will be no excuse. That's what being a witness is. Being a witness is not always being a good witness. It's just being a witness. So whether they turn or whether they hear, you have been a witness against them. They're not always going to like your witness. But you still must be a witness unto Yahuah. A workman is worthy of his hire. Hallelujah. So commemorations of all saints and martyrs are held in several churches on various dates. In 609, Pope actually literally means papa too. So I'm going to say nope in regards to Pope. So when you hear me say nope somebody, nope, he's not my papa. Call no man on earth your father, for one is your father, and that is Yahuah. So here we go. I just wanted to put out that disclaimer when I'm saying nope. In 609, nope, Boniface the fourth rededicated the Pantheon. Man, that is a place where they worship many deities. The Pantheon was where they worship many deities. That's why people say they pansexual now. It's many deities. Pan was the deity of lust, but now when you are pansexual, you having sex with anything, humping rocks and turtles. It don't matter. Get grab a squirrel. These are wicked people. So they rededicated the Pantheon in Rome to Saint Mary and all the martyrs. But remember, they rededicating something that already had what? Denigrated, dead, denigrated deities, not dead deities, but deities that they call, let's say, the Z deity in the Greek, or you had, I'll just say them, Zeus and Dionysus, and you had all these deities. You had all these deities. So what we're going to do, we're going to rededicate the same wicked temple, the Pantheon, to Saint Mary and all the martyrs, that you already deifying Mary and worshiping her as the perpetual virgin. But she was not a virgin. Matter of fact, the book makes it clear that once she had Yahusha, who was born of a virgin, when she was a virgin, Yahuah, that means Yahuah has added, knew his wife and had other children. So she wasn't a perpetual virgin. Man, bro, this is wickedness. So they dedicated it to Saint Mary and all the martyrs on the 13th of May. This was the same day as Lemuria, an ancient Rome festival for the dead. Man, look at what my occultist Stephanie put up there, man. It's con. They trust in their wealth and boast themselves in a multitude of their riches. None of them by any means redeem his brother, nor give to Elohim a ransom for him. That's Tehillim or Psalm 49. They trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. None of them can redeem his brother, nor give to Elohim a ransom for him. So that kills purgatory. Total Rabba. That kills purgatory. That kills it. You cannot pay a person into purgatory. You cannot buy it. And so watch this. You can't do penance or immersion for the dead. You can't do immersion for the dead. That's what Mormons do. They immerse or do baptism for the dead. That is pagan, man. All this is satanic. So let's look, the Catholic Church. This was the same date as Lemuria, an ancient Roman festival of the dead, and the same date as the commemoration of all saints in Edessa in the time of Ephraim. Bruh. Man. So let's go on through. These are here we go. Let's just keep reading. I'm going to keep going through this because I want y'all to hear how these pagan celebrations are. We got to understand. We got to go look at history sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because the book is a history book in itself. We know Yahuah is true. We know his word is right. But history, man's history, his story always confirms what Yahuah has warned about in his book. The Feast of All Hallows on the current day in the Western Church may be traced back to Note Gregory III, 731, 741, founding an oratory in St. Peter's. There we go, that basilica again. Remember, I told you it used to be Jupiter's basilica. Now it's St. Peter's basilica. They just taking Elohim and swapping them out. Wife swapping. God, dog it. Man, this is wicked, bro. For the relics of the holy apostles and all the saints, martyrs, and confessors. In 835, All Hallows Day was officially switched to the 1st of November. the same time as Samhain. The same date as Samhain. Now remember, Lemuria was a Roman same date as a Roman festival of the dead, May 13th, the Roman festival of the dead. So now, Gregory actually takes the festival of All Hallows and puts it on the same date as Samhain. Why? Because they worshiping the same demons and they want that money to come in. So pagan money spends just like the saints' money. See that? It all jingle and jiggle the same way. You old dirty, dirty dogs. Man, Barak Yahuah to everyone who has decided to leave Christianity. Barak Yahuah. Hallelujah. Rumamu Yahuah. Man, highest exaltation unto Yahuah. For all those who have left Christianity, for all those who have stepped out of the paganism into the truth, man, I love y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being obedient to the Ruach, to the rule. Man. Hallelujah. So let's look at this. And behest of Gregory the Fourth. So it was switched at the commandment of Gregory the Fourth. Some suggest that this was due to Celtic influence. See there? The influence of the people. They fear the people. Conquer the lay people. Nikos laetes. That's what that is. You got to understand that. While others suggest that it was a Germanic idea. Although it is claimed that both Germanic and Celtic speaking peoples commemorated the dead at the beginning of winter. They remembering the dead, y'all. Why? Because Yahuah's word has to be wrote against. That's why you hear them say, in death, there is no remembrance of you in the book. Why? They tell you that in death, there's no remembrance of your accolades. Not that your memory leaves you when you go to the pit. That's not what that means. In death, there is no remembrance of thee. You're not remembered. So what they gonna say is, Yahuah trying to say that we don't remember the dead, we gonna commemorate them. You got to understand that all this is done as a front to Yahuah. All this is done, as he says, as smoke to his eyes. All this is done, like Jeremiah 7 says, you did it to provoke me. You are provoking Yahuah. They know what they're doing. So we're going to remember the dead because you said that the dead has no remembrance. Because you have said, you have made a covenant with death and with the pit or Shaul. We are in agreement. Yahuah knows you. He knows you so good that he put it in some word and put it out there before it comes to pass. He has said it. Man. He knows you that well. Don't try to escape. You made a covenant. Man. So, here we go. They commemorated the dead at the beginning of winter. They may have seen it as the most fittest time to do so because it is a time of dying in creation. See, they know it's the time of dying. So watch this. Why would your new year begin in the time of dying? Where it's the dead of winter, people say. It shouldn't begin there. That's why Yahuah tells us, Abib shall be the beginning of months for you. Abib shall be the beginning of months. See what I'm saying? Abib. It means spring. That's when the new year should start. Not in the dead of winter. See? Now you get an understanding. Let me tell you something. This thing just don't run from Halloween. It runs from Halloween, then the All Hallows Tide, all the way up to January 6th and the end of Yuletide. That's why, I'm going to sing it again. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. And folks dressed up like Eskimos. My shot told me to stop it. Hey, I was just trying to hit some Bing Crosby on you. Folks dressed up like Eskimos. Man, y'all pagan, bruh. And that's why why, if Christmas has nothing to do with the pagan Yule, why are you singing Yuletide carols? Somebody got to answer that question. Yuletide is this time like this. All Hallow Tide. That's why the tide is at the end of it. These are pagan rituals. We going into this because if Yahuah has given us the commandment and the strength to be teachers and leaders, we should speak out against this. In Christianity, the teachers and leaders did not speak out against the wickedness. They were afraid of their positions. Here, the teachers and leaders should speak out against all wickedness in Yahuah. Y'all silly, man. Y'all silly, man. Don't make me laugh. Y'all, they speaking against all of the things that they don't speak against not tithing. A pastor speak against not tithing. Put your name on a non-tithers board and all that. But they truly do not speak against wickedness. They don't speak against wickedness. And so over here, as we walk through this truth, we must speak against wickedness. We must put our face like a flint. A flint is a hard rock, adamant. And we must set our face against the people so that we can preach to them the truth. Cry loud and spare not. Hallelujah. So here we go. It also suggested that the change was made on the practical grounds that Rome in the summer could not accommodate the great number of pilgrims who flocked to it. So they saying too, the change All Hallows Eve and Samhain being put together was it could not accommodate all the people coming. So we got to give enough time to, boy. And perhaps it was because of public health considerations regarding Roman fever, a disease that claimed a number of lives during the sultry summers of the region because it was too much heat. So they need to change the date to bring in more money. More people, more money. And that's what the book talks about when it says they make merchandise of you. Told it to all who watch it, man. We walking through this, man. We're going to go a little bit deeper in a minute. Man. This is stuff, man. I'm telling you, this is just crazy. Masha, crazy. Let me go on through this. Let's look at this right here. It is claimed that in the Middle Ages, the churches were too poor to display the relics of martyred saints at All Hallow Tide. Man, come on, Occulty, man, that's good. Yeah. You feel funny during the holidays because the rule is dealing with you. He begins to deal with us. He's the one calling us. That's why when we teach this, man, we cannot be angry. When we talk to Christians and we talk to people at our jobs and we talk to people out in the streets, we cannot be angry with them. We got to understand that because it's the rule. They have to follow the calling of the rule Yahuah to lead us. He leads us into all truth. And we got to let him do the work. When we get angry and we get to yelling at people, we're not allowing him to do the work. We're not allowing him to do the work. We need to just present the truth. You get what I'm saying? I could have busted in the door and say, y'all didn't want to do my tracks, you pagans, you evil ritual keepers, you got a beheaded head next door to you. I could have busted in there crazy if I wanted, but what good would they have done? What good would they have done? I'm just not going to do business with them because we got more work to do for the kingdom. Hallelujah. So, don't be mad at these people, man. They are of their father. They are being controlled by their father. For Adonai Yahuah will help me. Therefore I shall not be confounded. Therefore I have put my face like a flint, and I know I shall not be ashamed. Hallelujah. It's Yahuah. Isaiah 50:7. Hallelujah. Put your face like a flint, man. It's there. Man, that's true. Torah Asha. So here we go. It's claimed in the Middle Ages that churches were too poor to display the relics of martyred saints at All Hallow Tide and let parishioners dress up as saints instead. So they couldn't afford the money to make these stone saints. You get what I'm saying? So they just made them dress up as saints. See, this is where you're dressing up as goody people come from, Christians. See what I'm saying? So Christians say, oh, on trunk or treat night, they don't, my church, they don't dress up as devils. We dress up as, biblical characters. See there? This is where they come from. They were still partaking in the feast of death. They just didn't have the money to have up their saints. So they started dressing like the characters because they were too poor to do so. See there? You see that? That's your history. You don't even know what you're doing, especially black Christian. I'm telling you, when we do the state of the black church, it will be a lot of anger going forth from those people to me. Because we're going to talk about the state of the black church. It is horrible. You have no idea what you're in, but yet you say JC is Lord. And that Christianity is the truth. And as soon as we start making posts and speaking against the wickedness of Christianity, you're the first people to defend it. You are good house slaves. Great house slaves. You have no understanding. You just obeying what Master has said. So some Christians continue to observe this custom at Halloween today. See there? Some Christians continue to observe this custom at Halloween today. They didn't say Hallelujah night. They didn't say trunk or treat. They didn't say Revelation walk. Some Christians continue to observe this custom today. What are they saying? Because most churches wear the devil garments. They wear the devil garments. They wear them. So if most churches wear devil's garments, then what is it that you dress up as a biblical character or a saint? They know what you're doing it for. You still doing it for All Hallows Evening. Now let's look at this book. Let's look at this book. Let's see what the book say. Micah 5:12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. So Yahuah will cut off the witchcraft out of the hands, and you shall have no more soothsayers. That's removing the curse. If Yahuah is so against witchcraft, to where he says you should not allow a witch to live, why would we partake in anything that they're doing? Why would we partake in any festival that they're doing? Man, that's foolish. This is something, man. I'm giving you the history of it to show you that it's a Christian celebration, to prove to you once and for all that Halloween belongs to the Christian, because the Christian belongs to the pagan. They're the same people. Only when you can become Kadash to Yahuah are you separate and called out. Anything else is of the devil. You're not separate and called out on anything else unless you come to the saving power of Yahuah Yahshay. That is truth. While souling, that's what they call it, Christians would carry them lanterns made with hollowed out turnips. Wow, remember I talked about the Druids doing that. They literally say Christians. It has been suggested that the carved jack-o'-lantern, popular symbol of Halloween, originally represented the souls of the dead. Remember I told you that's why the face was painted on it and carved on it. That's why you have carving the pumpkins. That's why they carve them, because they represent the face of the dead. That's why when you see the headless horseman, matter of fact, his name was Ichabod Crane. What's funny about that is Ichabod is in the book of the covenant, it means no esteem or no honor. So Ichabod Crane, the headless heartless, was a man of no honor. They even use a form of the operant in these things, man. So the headless horseman would have the head of a pumpkin, representing, that's how he represented the soul of the dead. Man. On Halloween in medieval Europe, fire served a dual purpose, being lit to guide returning souls to their homes, to the homes of their family. So when these people make bonfires, that's what they originally was called, or bonfires, it was originally designed to do like that so that you can call the spirits home. Wow. You're calling spirits, necromancy. We just talked about it. Yahuah is against it. And people can say, oh, we don't do it for that no more. We light the fire because Jesus is our light. He's our power. We light the fire to represent the light of the world. Man, you pagan, you cannot Christianize Yahushua's truth. You cannot Christianize Yahuwah's word. You cannot act like you playing with him like that. He hates lukewarmness. He said if you're lukewarm, he'll spew you out. You cannot attach a pagan understanding to the belief of Yahuah and say it stands. You must be fully Kadash. You have did no feast in the 7 feasts of Yahuah. You have not kept one Shabbat, but you want to say that he's all right with you lighting fires to his son, saying it's the light of the world, which his son's name is not Jesus, but Yahushua. You are all the way twisted, buddy. You are all the way twisted, pal, and you cannot get out of this twisting unless you make your way straight. You must make straight the way of Yahuah. Prepare yourself as a temple unto him. Man. And the families, as to deflect demons, it's the dual purpose, to deflect demons from hunting sincere Christian folk. Let me read this again. On Halloween in medieval Europe, fires serve as a dual purpose, being lit to guide the returning souls to the homes of their families, as well as to deflect demons from hunting sincere Christian folk. So the sincere, we sincere in being a Christian, so it reflects demons. We don't want the bad spirits. We only want the good spirit. I only want Papa Eon or Papa Yule to come over here to me and fellowship with me, and let's drink some libation to Papa Yule. But I don't want the demon to come to me. Yeah, you can't do it like that. All of it is wickedness. Households in Austria. That's actually the birthplace of crumpets, by the way. I'm working on some things now about that, man. It's going to be amazing, man. Barak Yahuah for understanding and what he's doing. Households in Austria, England, and Ireland had often candles burning in every room to guide the souls back to visit their earthly homes. I believe that's why candlelight and vigils come from. Well, when people die, the first thing you do is candlelight and vigils. Man, that's nowhere in the book, man. That's nowhere in the book. That begins to lead souls back to him. That's why they say that, that spirit is still there with them. You be careful doing things like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Not even being careful. Stop doing things like that. Stop doing things like that. Because, what I'm saying, be careful. Because some people will see that somebody died and they want to go pay their respect for the dead, and they'll go to a vigil. They'll go to a candlelight and vigil and light candles, not understanding that it's for the demons and for the dead. Man, so many scriptures, man, that we could look at. So many scriptures to look at. Man, so much book to cover. I'm just gonna keep on just walking through, and as we get to these verses, man, and walk through these, man, I want y'all to see that what we're doing here, man, is to warn out of love and obedience to Yahuah. Man, so much to cover. But I'll get back to the scriptures in a minute. I just want to break this down, man, so you will understand where this come from. So, these were known as soul lights. These were known as soul lights. You're not going to find this nowhere in the book. You're not going to find anything in this book talking about any soul lights or things like that, or anything of the like. But this is what you are going to find. Listen to this. This is Hanuk. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied. This is Hanuk 7:1. It happened that when the sons of men had multiplied in those days, that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the watchers, the sons of Shemayim, beheld them and became enamored of them, saying to them, "Come, let us select for ourselves of the progeny of men, and let us beget children, And their leader, Semyaza, said to them, I fear that you perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer such a grievous crime. But they answered him and said, we all swear and bind ourselves by mutual extractions that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together and bound themselves by mutual execrations. And the whole number was 200, who descended upon artists. That's where we get Nepalim. That means to fall down or go downward. They ended up on Mount Harmon, which artists, which is on the top of Mount Harmon, Salakia. That the mountain is now called Harmon because they swore upon it and bound themselves by mutual execration. Now these fallen came down, and these fallen came down to the daughters of men, not just because it just happened, because these people's hearts were not right in seeking Yahuah. You provide an open invitation to all demons when you are walking contrary to the way of Yahuah. So, just like in that time, like it says, it's in the days of Noah. That's the days of Noah that we're talking about right there. Noah was alive. Watch this. As in the days of Noah, the same happens in our time. That's what it says. So shall it be when the son of Adam return. There's a woman who has confessed and said that she has slept with over 20 spirits and engaged to another one in order to produce babies. Spirit babies, they call them, or ghost babies, who are in human flesh. This is not them just talking out of the side of your neck, people. These people are spirit counselors. This woman, she calls herself Amethyst. What was her last name? Man, I forgot it. Amethyst, if it comes to, what was that? Total. Amethyst Realm. She calls herself Amethyst Realm. That's what she changed herself to. A stone to use for witchcraft and the realm to open it. That's what she's changed her name to. Amethyst Realm. She is a spirit counselor in Britain. She has changed her name to that. And she is trying to have a baby by a spirit that she is about to marry. Man, do you think that this is a game, man? These people, when they conjure back these spirits, they not just conjuring back these spirits just to stand and look at them. They are literally having sex and orgies with these spirits. That's why Satanism, they'll tell you, man, they have as much sex as they want. Why? Because it's opening doorways. It's opening doorways into the spirit realm so that you can feel these so-called energies. That's what she said. She felt this energy making love to her, and she allowed for it to happen. And then later on, he proposed to her when she finally heard a voice speak to her. Man, that's wickedness, man. As in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the son of Adam returns, man. You guys gotta understand, if you don't believe in the spirit world, and watch this, if you don't believe in the spirit world, you might as well just close the book, because Yahuah is spirit. And they that worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. How can you say you don't believe in what I'm saying when I'm talking about the spirit world, but Yahuah himself is spirit? Let's look at this, man. And Azazel, this is 8 and 1. Moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates. Watch this. Why did the fallen teach men to make swords and knives and breastplates? It's because he wanted to kill off the people. They hate mankind. So they gave them breastplates and things like that. Not saying armor and weapons and things to protect your family is evil. That's context. But they gave them weapons so that they would fight each other and spill more blood to drink. More bloodshed equals more blood drinking. Y'all gotta understand. These creatures are smart. They are smart. You know what I'm saying? I had a Christian and Torah. I'm gonna say Torah for sharing it. He said he didn't believe that I had saw a Wendigo, or what people call Bigfoot. I don't really care if you believe it or not. I know the spirit world well. I've seen so many things in the spirit world, it will blow your mind. You would lose your mind, all the things that Yahuah has allowed me and given me strength to see. So if I'm reading this book, I know that they're coming down for a purpose. I know that they're coming down to do this work. See, the reason why you do Halloween now, Christian, is you really don't believe the book. So you don't believe that Yahuah will punish you for your wickedness of celebrating sorcery and witchcraft. You don't believe in a literal pit. You don't believe. That's why you always hollering once saved, always saved. That's why you always talking about, oh, he loves me. Don't trip. He ain't through with me yet. That's why you always say he gonna rapture me up out of here. And I'm gonna meet him in the skies and all this foolishness you talking. You don't believe that book for real. So that's why you override direct commandments of not doing witchcraft and sorcery and the like, which is from the beginning of the book all the way to the end, because you really don't believe the book. You do not believe the book. You only think you believe the book. And you're trying to convince yourself while doing wickedness at the same time. You cannot have it both ways. So now let's look at this. He made breastplates, knives, swords, fabrication of mirrors. What did I just tell you about crystallomancy and Michael Jackson? Why would you create mirrors? So that they can begin to talk to the realm of the dead. See what I'm talking about? And they can also induce vanity in a person. Because see, the mirror itself is not wicked. Because this stuff comes from the mind. It is what you do with the mirror that makes it wicked. I can have a mirror in my house all day, but if I begin to do crystallomancy and talking to spirits in it, I've made it wicked. Workmanship of bracelets and ornaments. They put ruach on these bracelets and ornaments. The use of paint. The beautifying of the eyebrows. Stones of every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. What is it talking about altered? Because once these people got this stuff, they begin to do the beautification of their faces, and they begin to do this stuff in vanity. It didn't say that these things were wicked, but these things were vanity, because when you do them for evil, it makes it wicked. You got to understand the context of when you read something. Watch this. Impiety increase, wickedness increase, fornication multiply. They having sex all the whole time they down here. They are not supposed to be with women. Yahuah did not create them like this. And they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. Why? They were supposed to be Kadash. This is book. Amazarach taught all the sorcerers. See there? He taught all the sorcerers. Meaning, that means they were trying to do some kind of form of sorcery. Boy, they presented and they created an environment that produced the angels to come down. They made it the exact right climate. What do you think you're doing when you're celebrating Halloween? What do you think you're doing when you're celebrating Easter? What do you think you're doing when you're celebrating Christmas? What do you think you're doing when you're celebrating Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day? You are making a climate to where these ruach, these spirits, can come down. Man, this is crazy. He taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots and armors the solution of sorcery. What does that mean? The antidotes for them. Ba'kara, the observance of the stars. We can see the stars out there. Looking at stars is not the problem. It's when you make stars deities and you begin to fortune tell with the stars. That's the wickedness. Akabiel, Tamiel taught astronomy. Same thing I was just talking about. And Asadriel taught the motion of the moon. Moon gazers. Moon stars. Lunatics is what I call them. Luna means moon. You're a lunatic because you're thinking the moon is going to affect you in some way. I'm reading this for this reason. That's why werewolves became such a popular thing in Halloween and horror movie culture, because the Lycans, shamans in Native American culture, will tell you that people can really turn into wolves. Aki Sneedman, he talks about a man he knew that was with the what they call the Hell's Angels that could turn into a wolf. If you don't believe this stuff, just get off the line. Just block it. Just close the book. Because watch this. He says to turn into a werewolf, you must have enough demons in you as the city of San Francisco. That's how many demons you must in you. Well, we see that Legion, the man Legion, had 2,000 in him. What could he do? He was so strong that he could not even be tamed. He left the city in chains because he broke the chains and went to walk in tombs. Reason why I believe this stuff, I remember being young and watching the movie Howling, because I told you that on Shabbat, at the beginning evening of Shabbat, I'm sorry, Salakia, that my Christian family would watch horror movies. And I remember watching The Howling. And I remember, I always told Yahshay, I always told her at that time that transformation of that wolf was so real looking that it could not be sci-fi at that time. It could not be CGI. It could not be any computer generated because we didn't have that technology at that time. And I kept telling her over and over again that the changing of that man on the camera, he tore his mouth open. He grabbed the top of his mouth and the bottom and he began to rip his face off and turned into this beast. And I told her about that. I said it was too real. And being a person that understood the spirit world and seeing spirits and seeing an actual werewolf in real life, not a Bigfoot, a werewolf, he was great. I'll share that story with you in a minute. You can take this how you want to take it. I'm being 100 and I'm talking to you about the Ruach world. If you believe the fallen came to earth and laid with the daughters of men, which is also in Bereshit or Genesis 6, if you believe that spirits could come down, lay with women, and create giants and create children, then you should believe what I'm saying, because I'm not making this up. I told her how real that the Howling looked. And then I met Aki Sneebling. And Sneebling, sorry, he likes his name to be Sneebling. I say Sneebling. You know how black folks already put a spin on your name. But Aki Sneebling, he began to share a testimony about knowing a man who said that because they could not get and did not have the funds to create the change of the wolf in the movie Howling, that they paid a Satanist to come in and transform himself into a wolf on camera, summoning the demons and transforming himself into a monstrous beast we know as a lichen or a werewolf. It was before I began to use any kind of marijuana, anything like that. I do believe that's why Yahuah removed this stuff from me. It's because when I began to dabble into drugs as a child and begin to go into smoking weed and things like that, I believe that Yahuah removed it, so I couldn't say that it was induced by any drug, because I knew it came directly from the Most High himself. I remember being in a car with my mom, leaving my job when I worked at McDonald's. I was young. And I freaked out to the point where I stopped the car. I could have been maybe I had to be about 16 at driving age. I stopped the car and I freaked out. And my mom was like, "What's wrong with you, son?" She kept screaming, "Son, son." And it was a wall came up out of the street. A wall came up out of the street. And on this wall was skulls all over this wall. And there was a gray werewolf hanging on the wall, pointing his hand towards me like, "Come to me." He was beckoning me to come to him. It was so huge. I literally stopped in the middle of traffic. Cars were blowing everywhere. And if you know anything about Gaston, it was the McDonald's that's right there that was across from Popeyes. You know, it was that McDonald's right there on 12th Street McDonald's. And I was coming in that light turn and turning left, going towards Italo. And that wall came up out the ground. And I seen for myself what is considered a lichen. He came up out the pit and he was beckoning me to come with him. I believe Satan has been wanting me to work for him for a long time. And I know that he has a problem with this right here. But I'm being completely transparent with you to let you know that the dangers of Halloween and all these holidays are summoning spirits that exist. So if you were blown away by the book Bigfoot thing, guess what? I just gave you a werewolf. Now share that one. But these wolves and these lichens, these shapeshifters, are people who have either been indwelled by the fallen, or they are continuing to be children of the fallen, because sorcerers and witches continue to sleep with the dead throughout time. That's what Woodstock was. People always like to beat their chest and say that they had something to do with Woodstock. Woodstock was a giant celebration unto Hashatan, to where Jimi Hendrix himself sacrificed to a demon on stage by burning his guitar and worshiping that demon, and then had the nerve to ask his girlfriend — I have the recordings and I'll try to play them at another time — ask his girlfriend to go to her grandmother that lived in Georgia, who practiced voodoo, to get demons and spirits off of him. Boy, man, come on. So what I'm saying is that the environment was perfect to produce children of the fallen. That's why if you look at Rh negative or the negative gene, they will tell you that some people grow tails, have elongated vertebrae, they have psychic powers, they can they have so many things. Their eyes are different color. It's just research Rh negative. A woman came to me at one point and told me that her baby was Rh negative. She said, you know what that means? She said, you've read the book of Enoch. She said, it is literally of the fallen. Because she said, they say that my bloodline is of the fallen, and it's trying to kill my baby, because it says, they were saying to her, the doctors pulled her in the room and said that they were literally, her body was trying to kill her baby because her body was of the fallen. That's what she said, for word. That was her words to me. She was pregnant at the time. And doctors told her that her baby was in danger because the father was not of the fallen bloodline, and they had to inject a needle in the top of her stomach and inject this coating in the top of her stomach and in the bottom of her stomach to coat her baby, to protect her baby from being destroyed by her own body, because she was of the Nephilim. Now, if you don't believe that, that's on you. But I just read Hanuk or Enoch 7:1, and it lines up with Genesis 6:1. Matter of fact, in the Red Book of Hanuk by R.A. Charles, they both are in chapter 6. This is not a game. That's why I take Halloween so serious as being a Christian celebration, because we are making a climate on our earth. And when I say we, I'm talking about mankind as a whole, not the Kadash. We are making a climate on the earth in order to introduce new spirits, new devils who rose newly up to come to this earth. New devils who rose newly up to come to this place. Let me see if I can find that scripture real quick while it's in my Ruach. Let me see. If not, I posted it. I'm trying to be obedient. The new devils who rose newly up. I know it's in Dabarim. If you can find it for me while I'm going through here, I think I got it here. Yeah, I got it right here. Dabarim, total for looking, but I got it. Dabarim 32:16. Look at this. Look at this. And this is why I'm reading this, because this was happening at their time. Matter of fact, Marsha was going around the Mount Hermon, the very mountain I read where they made the covenant to come down and sleep with women, killing off giants. Aga Bashan was one of them. He was going around fighting the Raphaim and the Emarim and the Anakim. Now I'll show you this. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Darth Vader's name in Star Wars is Anakin Skywalker. That whole movie is made of which language or which tongue? You got to understand? Listen, it's a climate that's being exacted, and Halloween is ever increasing so that this climate can happen. Man, I'm just following the leadership of the rule. Let's go. 16. And they provoked him to jealousy with strange Elohim. Provoked who? Yahuah. With abominations they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not unto Yahuah, but to deities whom they knew not, to deities that came newly up. Why are they coming newly up? Ask yourself these questions. Why does it say come newly up? Because people were still sleeping with the fallen. If you can show me a scripture where Yahuah takes away their privy parts, takes away their private parts, and make them smooth as Bugs Bunny, as my dad used to say. If you can give me a scripture that shows me that he removed their private parts, I will completely shut up. But they continued to do it. That's why it says in the days of Noah, there were giants before and after the flood. That's why they're raising newly up, because people are still mixing in their seeds. Look at the Minotaur, the bull deity of the Greeks and the Romans. It's talk about how Zeus came down and slept with a woman, or somebody slept with a bull, I don't know, and made a Minotaur. They're talking about hybrids. It talks about in the book how Zepho, Ashur's son or Esau's son, saw a man at the top of his body and a beast at the bottom of his body. It talks about these things in its book. It talks about Dagon, the half-man, half-fish deity that the Philistines worship. Do you think they just worship this stuff out of the blue, or they literally were worshiping these things because they knew these things existed? I remember in India, and I'll finish this verse in a minute, but I want to tell you this, that in India, we watched a documentary about these people being attacked by these half-human, half-monkey creatures. They were being attacked. Me and my wife was watching in broad daylight. These creatures would come out and just attack a woman with her groceries and attack a man. And they said, hey, we know that they're not apes. They're not monkeys. These people, these are a hybrid between a monkey and a man. Well, as all Goyim do when they're doing documentaries, they begin to say, well, we have no idea why these people are facing these afflictions. And they pull away the camera, and the statue stands before the city of a half-man, half-monkey deity. But they don't have any idea. You are silly. You know that? They have no idea why they're being attacked by a half-man, half-monkey deity or demons. Because they have these newly rose up idols and statues summoning that spirit. Listen to this. Let me say this. The statue and the idol is just used to invoke this Ruach that's connected to the statue and idol. That Ruach can't speak. It can't see. It can't hear. Just like Malak Dawood said. But that spirit that you have dedicated that idol to knows you're talking to it. And it's coming at you. Watch this. It says it. They provoked Yahuah to jealousy with other Elohim. They sacrificed unto devils, unto Aloha. Not unto Aloha or Elohim or the power. But they sacrificed unto deities they knew not, to new Elohim that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. The fathers didn't know about them. So that means there's new creatures coming up on the earth. Let me tell you something. Transgenderism is just leading into transhumanism. Humans now are beginning not only to dress in the Halloween costumes to look like the deities they worship, but they're beginning to cut their bodies up and make themselves into the demons that they worship. Look up the vampire woman of South America. The vampire woman of South America has literally contorted and did enough surgeries to put 4 horns on her head and things like that to look like the deity she worshiped. I remember when they shared her story, they said that she was an abused woman. You could see Catholic symbols all through the house. See, I told you on part 1, I look in the house. Catholic symbols all through the house, demonic signs and logos all through the house. And she was being abused. So what she did was she turned to her mighty ones. She turned to these devils and began to sacrifice her own self by contorting herself to look like the deities she deal with. Kesha, the singer, has an album called She-Wolf. And on that album, she sings about sleeping with spirits. She sings about sleeping with spirits. That's why, I don't know if y'all remember this, man. As a young kid, man, I was into foolishness. I watched this stuff, Scary Movie 2. I went to the movies to watch it. And the woman was having sex with a ghost. You get what I'm saying? That stuff is not a game. At that time, they made that Scary Movie to where the Scary Movie, Marlon Wayans and them had a party in it at that time. Before, once again, they stole the ideas from a black man. Why? Because that black man is dabbling into white ground. Don't be upset because they stole your movie. You already had submitted yourself to Hashatan. And you know what's his is his. And I'm not talking about the white man being the devil. I'm talking about a physical spirit being that the white man worships, which is the devil. But on that movie, she had sex with a ghost. And we all just laughing like it's a game. Because that's why movies come out. That's why horror movies and horror comedies and things like that come out. It begins to jade you. It makes you to where you don't see any darkness in it anymore. You don't see anything because why? It's just fun. It's just fun for the children. It's just fun and games. But these worship Elohim who their fathers didn't know. Of the rock that begot you, you are unmindful and have forgotten all that formed you. You have forgot the rock. Huh? You have forgot the rock. That's Yahuah 28. If you read in, he talks about that rock that can save. That's Yahusha. He is that rock. He is Azur in Aubrey. Azur, our rock. So it's telling you that you continue to forget the rock. Yahuah, Yahshay is that rock. Why? You have made covenants with death and the devils. Man. Look at this. Many Christians in mainland Europe, especially in France, believe that once a year on Halloween, the dead of the churchyards rose for one while. Why do you think a lot of churches, man, that's what I found that out. You know, a lot of churches have graveyards in the front of them. That should be creepy. That should be weird. But see, they're doing things to raise the dead. So you might as well have the dead close to the house. Might as well have the dead close to the house you worship in, because you're going to raise them anyway. Why don't we just have their graves right in front of the church? You see that? Graves as far as the eye can see, right in front of the church or behind the church. Why? Because they go to the churchyards. This is why this stuff happens, man. We always wondered that. But this is why this stuff happens. The dead of the churchyards rose for one wild, hideous, harmful. So now they already trying to get them out of the pit into purgatory. Now they raise the church for one wild, hideous, harmful. Woo! We partying with the dead. Woo! Let's boogie with them. Let's boogie with the demons. Boy, this is evil. This is evil. It was called the Dance Macabre. Ain't that something? Or the Dance of the Dead. The Dance Macabre. That's why they have so many Halloween dances and Halloween parties. That's why they do so much stuff. And let me tell you this too. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be open with you too. Spirit days. Why do they have spirit days at your children's school right before Halloween? They're doing this so they can dress up and partake in the spirits. It's not school spirit, which is crazy in itself, but it's spirit days. They do these things to get your children involved. Even when you're trying to keep them Kadash, they're trying to get every child involved so the rituals and the spells will work. You need to be on guard. So the Dance Macabre, which has often been depicted in church decoration. So it's in church, on church stained glass and stuff. The Dance Macabre. Christopher Almond and Rosamund McKitterick write in the New Cambridge Medieval History. This is New Cambridge Medieval History, that Christians were moved by the sight of the infant Jesus, sweet baby Jesus, playing on his mother's knees, and their hearts were touched by the Pietà, the patron saints, reassured them by their presence. But all the while the dance macabre urged them not to forget the end of all earthly things. The dance macabre was enacted at village pageants and court masques. That is your masquerade balls that the churches do. Count on as many toes and hands you got, fingers and toes you got, how many masquerade balls churches do. That's why Mardi Gras, you cover your face. Those masks are represent of the dead, with people dressing up as corpses from various strata of society, meaning various statuses of society. They would dress up as corpses. So guess what? For who? The infant Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. That's why Kanye and Jay-Z had no problem singing Sweet Baby Jesus, because that's not his name. His name is Yahushua HaMashiach, and he is righteous, and he is Kadash, and he teaches us to be Kadash unto him who is Yahuah Yahshay, to walk in his Torah, to keep his commandments, to be obedient. He does not teach us to dance with the dead and dance as the dead. He does not teach us, because he said, let the dead bury the dead and come follow me. He was not concerned with the dead. He is concerned with the living. Barak Yahuah. And may have been the origin of the modern day Halloween costume parties. And that's in the New Cambridge Medieval History book, that Christians originated Halloween costume parties. You got to understand this. It's a Christian celebration. It is evil. It is evil. Man, so let me close this out, man. Let's go a little deeper right here. I'm about to close this out, man. But I just wanted to share some more with you on part 2 about this being a Christian celebration. Got a few more of the book to read, and then we'll go further in what we're doing. In France, some Christian families on the night of All Hallows Eve prayed beside the graves of their loved ones, setting down dishes full of milk for them. Do they not give milk and cookies to Santa Claus? Crumpets is Santa Claus. These libations, these food and drink offerings, it still shows that they're pagans. But yet and still, when we say we do drink offerings unto Yahuah, feasts unto Yahuah, food offerings unto Yahuah, then we're a cult. Or y'all wicked. You're a cult. You so sneaky Hebrews. Ain't nobody can trust you. You're wicked. Man, you wicked. In France, some Christian families on the night of All Hallows Eve prayed beside the graves of their loved ones, setting down dishes of milk for them. On Halloween in Italy, some families left a large meal out for the ghosts as of their past relatives. See that? Before they departed for church services. Before they departed for church services, they would leave out large meals. Now, mind you, these families in France and Italy, they took a trip overseas to the Americas. You are all immigrants. I don't care how big Trump pump you up with foolishness. You are all illegal immigrants. You do not belong here. You came here to promote your foolishness because you have made it so dark over there that you came here. That's the truth. And you let Trump pump you up and say, America this and America that, and build a wall this and build a wall that. You are all of the father of the sons of your fathers who were immigrants, who traveled here and stole land from people. They did not purchase this land. They stole it. And they brought their satanic rituals over to a people who were doing satanic rituals. I'm going to be fair, because Amaruka means land of the flying dragon or serpent. And you did that and called them savages when you yourselves were savages as well. You are wicked, evil people. Yahuah Ga'ar to anyone who have not repented of the bloodshed of the indigenous people of this earth, because that blood still on you from the third and the fourth generation. That is book. I am Yahuah. Let's read that real quick. I want you to see this. This is in your 10 commandments that Christians have. They have the 10 commandments too. You may have the Baal name of Lord in there, but you know what that book say. But you are so pagan that you ignore what the truth is. Here we go. Shemut. Exodus 20. I want you to understand this. And Elohim spoke out all these words, saying, I am Yahuah, Eloheka, Yahuah, your power, which have brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones before me. You shall have no other mighty ones before me. In the Abrit, it should be, you shall not have any mighty one before my face. Put anything offensive before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image. So they couldn't build the statues to the saints, so they dressed like them. Not because they were trying to be obedient to the Torah, but because they couldn't afford to build statues. Boy. You shall not make unto you any graven image or any likeness of anything, watch this, that is in Shemayim above, that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. So dressing your little girl as a mermaid for Halloween is not escaping what Yahuah has commanded. None of this. You shall not bow down yourself. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuah, Eloheka, your power, am a jealous all, visiting the lawlessness, the iniquity of the fathers from the children, upon the children, unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me. Look at that. So how you think that being your immigrant family come over him with some foolishness and you ain't escaping, but you ain't repented of none of it? And showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and guard my commandments. That's what I want to show you. He shows mercy of those who love him and guard his commandments. So how is doing this the act of obedience? Or people say, oh, he okay with what I'm doing. He know my heart. He know that even though I'm celebrating Halloween, it's for fun. It's not pagan. Man, you lying. Let's finish this out. In France, we read that part. In Italy, we read that part. In Spain, that's getting the Hispanic now. On this night, special pastries are baked, known as the bones of the holy. In Spanish, it's huesos de santo. God dog it. And put them upon the graves of the churchyard. A practice that continues unto this day. North America. Let's go to North America right now. And I'm going to read this and we done. I just want to share with you that this is a pagan celebration. I'm done after this. After these two, part 1 and part 2, it's it. I'm not finna keep on going with this. I just want you to know that it's a pagan celebration. And when I say pagan, I mean Christian celebration. Because pagans are Christians. It's a Christian pastor. When he was presented with Christianity and Christmas being pagan, he said, yes, we are pagans. We come from pagans. It is a pagan celebration. They know. The Goyim Laban knows. Spread to North America. Here we go. Leslie Bonantine and Cindy Art both write that Anglican colonists, that's the word English, that's where you get English from. Anglican is the Anglo-Saxons or the Anglicans. The Angles and the Saxons merged. They were two tribes. They were barbarians. They were the barbarians. Look it up. That's where we get barbed Aryan from, the bearded Aryan. Barbed back in their time mean beard. So barbed Aryans were the barbarians. They were the savages. That's who the ones who Yahuah was preaching to. When the snake bit him, they were the savages. In Romans 1, he talks about the barbarians. They were the savages, not us. That the Anglican colonists of the southern United States and the Catholic colonists in Maryland recognize All Hallows Eve in their church calendars. Let me say that again because I went on a little rant. They both write that the Anglican colonists, look up the Anglican church, where your Methodists come from, I believe, and your Presbyterians and Lutherans come from. Look it up. In the southern United States and Catholic colonists in Maryland recognize All Hallows Eve in their church calendars, although Puritans in New England maintained strong opposition to the holiday, along with other traditional celebrations established in the church, including Christmas. Now, the Puritans is where holiness comes from. And they don't do Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. But your mother is still Christianity. Catholicism, the whore, is still your mother. They still left the mother. So even though they didn't do it, you still called on JC. You still worshiped on certain deity day. You can't get out of it. You can't just say, I don't do one crime, so I'm free of all of them. You can't do that. And I'm reasoning with you now. I'm reasoning with you out of love to get you to understand you cannot just say, I don't do Christmas or I don't do this. Like Jehovah's Witnesses, they say they don't do any of the pagan holidays, but they don't even believe that there's a pit, a punishment for the dead. They call him JC. They still do Sunday worship. You can't do that and expect to get out of it. Your punishment is still there unless you repent and turn to the saving power of Yahuah Yahshay. The almanacs of the late 18th and 19th century give no indication that Halloween was widely celebrated in North America. Why they begin to ban it? Why? Because they left the mother and they seen how dark and evil they had created it over there, and they begin to try to cut it off. It was not. See, watch who comes with it. Until mass Irish and Scottish immigrants. Wait a second. Did the Africans bring it? Did it say Africans? Did it say African voodooians or Haitians or anything bring that? Who they say brought Halloween over here? It was not until mass Irish and Scottish immigration in the 19th century that Halloween became a major holiday in North America. So it was still being celebrated, but it didn't become major until the Irish. Look at your Catholics. Look how many Irish you got. Father O'Malley and all that. All the Irish and Scottish came over here. It became a major holiday. Now, if they were so Christian strong, why didn't they stand against this wickedness and give them the book and say that this wickedness could not be accepted in God's country? Man. Confined to the immigrant communities in the mid-19th century, it was gradually assimilated into mainstream society. And by the first decade of the 20th century, it was being celebrated coast to coast, by people of all social, racial, and religious backgrounds. In Cajun areas, a nocturnal mass was said in cemeteries on Halloween night. Watch this. Cajuns, Louisiana. In Cajun areas, nocturnal or night masses are done. That's why Madame Laveau, I never say her name right. I'm Salaki on the Creole names. But Madame Laveau, that's why they go. A witch told me they pay $500. He's a 4th generation witch. He told me that they take a trip. First, they go camp out on the graveside of Madame Laveau. Then they travel all the way to Stonehenge. We talked about Stonehenge in the first lesson. They go all the way to Stonehenge. They pay $500 for this trip. And they worship the devil the whole time. And Christians, he says he fellowships with Christians. And he's even gave balms to them and different oils and stuff to them to heal their sons and acne and stuff like that. And they love fellowshipping with Christians. Why? The same devil. Same father. In Cajun areas, a nocturnal mass was said in cemeteries on Halloween night. Candles that had been blessed, talk about blessed, the smearing of blood, were placed on graves. And families sometimes spent their entire night at the graveside. See, I just told you. This witch says he does it. So they spend the entire night at the graveside. So they worship Madame Laveau, Marie Laveau. They worship her as a deity that rose newly up. Papa Doc. They worship them and they sleep at the grave sites. That's why you have hallelujah nights now. If you were Kadash, you would be doing this stuff when no wickedness was being done. You will really be calling yourself out and being separate, but you're not. You're doing the very thing that your ancestors did. You are of your fathers. And the wicked devils they worship, you worship. Even devils that they did not know you worship. The yearly New York Halloween parade begun in 1974 by puppeteer and mask maker Ralph Lee of Greenwich Village. You got to be careful about these puppeteers and mask makers. Matter of fact, in my book I'm writing, you could actually see that they carve wooden masks. They take the tree out of the woods, just like Yahuah 10 says, and they carve a mask. Some people will not even allow a mask to be made unless it's carved from the wood of a tree to look like the demon, the green man, or Hashatan. But let me finish this. Is the world's largest parade. Matter of fact, look up the Trans World Halloween celebration they do. You will see so much demonic stuff. And why do they call it Trans World? Man, that should say something in itself. But look up the Trans World Halloween parade and you'll see how demonic it is. It's the world's largest Halloween parade and one of America's only major nighttime parades, along with Portland's Starlight Parade, attracting more than 60,000 costume participants, 2 million spectators, and a worldwide television audience of 100 million people. This is wicked. And we're done. I just wanted to put this out here to let you know. I'm gonna read this about the jack-o'-lantern right quick, and then we're done. I just want you to know the history of this, and I'm gonna show you just this part, and I'm gonna hit you real quick. This is where the jack-o'-lantern comes from. This is a story. On route home after night's drinking, Jack encounters the devil and tricks him into climbing a tree. A quick-thinking Jack etches the sign of the cross into the bark, thus trapping the devil. Look how pagan this is already. Jack strikes a bargain that Satan can never claim his soul. After a life of crime, drink, and mendacity, Jack is refused entry into heaven when he dies. Keeping his promise, the devil refuses to let Jack into Sheol, or the pit, what they spell Hell, and throws a live coal straight from the fires of the pit at him. It was a cold night, so Jack places the coal in a hollowed out turnip to stop it from going out, since which time Jack and his lantern have been roaming to look for a place of rest. So you partake in that type of wickedness. This is wickedness, and it ain't no getting around it. I've said what I've said out of love and caring for you. I was enjoying my Shabbat, but the Ruach, he wants you to know the truth, and he wants you to turn. This is Watchman Yahshay ben Yasharal to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and to the Goyim convert that is among us in Yasharal, doing a call to repentance for all Christians who have been deceived into believing that they are not of the devil. This is a call to repentance, to change your life and be immersed into the waters and into repentance to Yahuah Yahshay and be saved. He will save you. But he who endures to the end, same shall be saved. We have that assurance in what we believe in because we are obedient to the Torah and the commandments. And he says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. Ahabu Shalom, Baruch atah Hashem Yahuah Eloheinu, Melech Ha'olam. Exalted is Yahuah, our power, King of the universe forever. Amen. Shalom.